Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom.
People in every part of the globe are perishing because the judgment is low. From children to teens to elderly folks, this epidemic is incredibly bold. Wisdom is needed to see through the fog. Without it, we'll stumble and see to the long. You're jumping without something to break and fall if you choose to ignore it's a beckoning call. The only people who will lose the war are those who don't know who they're fighting for. You are the only one who can decide your fate. Don't waste your life when you can live inside of grace. If we turn to God and behold His shining face, we will gain traction to run in this human race.
Hey, JC Johnson here for the Love of Wisdom, and right now we're getting ready to discuss the wisdom of altruism. What does that mean, and how can we apply it to our lives?
Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom. Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom.
Tasha Nicole, and this is North Coast Underground, where the underground starts with you. I'm your host, JC Johnson, and you're listening to For the Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets. And, you know, on the last episode, we were actually talking about professionalism, and now we're going to discuss a new topic. We're going to be discussing the importance of altruism. Okay, and again, if you're new to the show, this show title, For the Love of Wisdom, it comes from two Greek words. One is philo, which means love, and the other one is sophos, which means wisdom. Put the two together and it means love of wisdom. And the theme verse of this show comes from Psalm 90 verse 12, and it says, "Teach us to number our days carefully so that we may develop wisdom in our hearts." And that is something that we all should strive to live by, something that's really important. And you know, in this series we're discussing isms. In the last series, each of the show titles ended with the suffix ity, but now we switched it up and everything is with an ism. So if we look here, last time we discussed a quote, and this is pretty interesting, and it has to do with professionalism. This is from Amit Kalinatri, and it says, "A true professional not only follows but loves the processes, policies, and principles set by his profession." And this is really important because it's not just about, you know, blindly following something or going through some sort of ritual like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, I have to be professional, and that's why I'm doing it. You can't truly be professional if that's how you feel about it. So what is being said here is that a true professional is someone who really enjoys this, someone who really understands the benefits of it. This is someone who believes in what they're doing, right? Why would you want to be fake? Why would you want to do something you don't believe in? That doesn't make any sense, right? So again, I think that that's a pretty good way to look at professionalism. So that was an awesome episode. If you missed that one or any others, don't worry, because you can always catch past episodes online. You can listen anywhere where podcasts can be found, such as iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher. And if you have a Amazon device and it's Alexa enabled, you can just say, "Hey Alexa, play For the Love of Wisdom," and it'll pull that up for you. So what are we talking about now? We're discussing altruism. And what is altruism? According to Merriam Webster's, altruism is an unselfish regard for or devotion to the welfare of others. And it's important to make a distinction. Some people make a distinction between altruism and humanitarianism, which we're going to be discussing next. So when you talk about altruism, right, what are you saying? You're saying basically it's not just about doing good things. It's not just about, you know, feeding a village of 1,000 people, you know, but it's doing it with the right heart. It's not doing it so you can be seen by other people. It's not doing it so that you can be celebrated, but really you're doing it because you believe in it, because it's the right thing to do, and because you care more about the well-being of those people who are going through whatever they're going through than you care maybe about your own comforts, right? Because if you if you give anything that's meaningful, there's going to be some sort of sacrifice. So if you're only giving so that you can have a tax write-off, maybe you're doing some good, but the reason behind it is not good. I saw a movie recently with my wife, and it was about a young lady who witnessed one of her best friends being shot by the police. And when she went to school, some of her friends said, "Hey, we're gonna protest this. We're gonna go out. We're gonna skip class so that we can basically, promote Black Lives Matter and say, oh, this is a bad thing that happened." But the young lady was upset because her friends at school weren't doing it because they truly believed in the cause. They were doing it just so they can get out of having to take that test. And she said, this isn't right. This is not the reason why you should be out protesting. It should be because you actually believe in justice for this person. So, again, altruism is really about the heart behind what you're doing more than it is what you're doing, right? So we're going to get into that a little bit more. There's an article here by Kendra Cherry that I think is pretty good, and it is called Altruism: Why We Risk Our Own Well-Being to Help Others. This is a pretty good article. It just came out a few days ago. And again, it's by Kendra Cherry, and it was published on Very Well Mind. And right here, she says a few things that I really want us to focus on. One thing she said is that altruism is the unselfish concern for other people, doing things simply out of a desire to help, not because you feel obligated to out of duty, loyalty, or religious reasons. And this is critical, what she's saying here, because basically what she's saying is, again, just like how I mentioned before, it's about the reason why you're doing it. It's not about doing something because you feel obligated, because you feel like you're being forced to do it by someone, but you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you believe that what you're going to do is going to produce the best fruit. She mentions religious reasons. Now, there are people who do things and they'll say, well, I'm going to only do this because God wants me to do it. I'm only going to do it because a religious text tells me to do it. But again, why are you only doing something just because of that? Because if you're doing that, that means your heart is not really in it. That means you don't really see the benefit of what you're doing. So maybe, the Bible or, having a relationship with God can influence your decisions and the way that you look at the world, but it shouldn't be to where, that's the only reason you're doing something, because that means that you haven't caught on yet, that you don't really understand what's going on. One thing she says here too is that altruism is one aspect of what social psychologists refer to as pro-social behavior. What does pro-social mean? So pro-social behavior, basically, it's any action that benefits other people, no matter what the motive of how the giver benefits from the action. So they give an example here in the article saying that basically we might be able to help other people for a variety of reasons, such as guilt, obligation, duty, or even for rewards, right? But that's not what this is talking about. So, basically, when you're being altruistic, you're doing something simply because it benefits that person. No matter if you get a tax write-off for it, no matter if you get a pat on the back by somebody, no matter if you get recognized and you're on the news or something like that, it doesn't matter the reason as far as how it benefits you. The main thing, your main concern is that the person that you're helping gets all that they need. That's the most important thing about it. One thing that the article then says, it says that researchers suggest that people are more likely to engage in altruistic behavior when they feel empathy for the person who is in distress. And this is something important, because without empathy for other people, it is difficult to be truly altruistic. Maybe you can be a humanitarian, maybe you can donate lots of money or do things that help people, but it may be for other reasons, right? But if you have empathy for people, even if there's no financial gain for you, basically you'll be able to still do this and know that you're doing the right thing. Other experts have proposed, as it says here, that altruistic acts help to relieve the negative feelings created by observing someone else in distress. So that can be a somewhat selfish reason, even though it's still similar to empathy. Basically, sometimes we do things for people because we feel bad. Not that we necessarily feel bad for them, but we just feel bad in general. So let's just say you see somebody trying to teach their child how to ride a bike, and the child keeps falling down, hurting themselves. So the parent goes inside and says, okay, keep practicing. I'm going to go inside here and watch a soap opera. Keep practicing riding that bike. So maybe you, because you're just so tired of seeing that person, that child fall on the ground every time, you say, you know what? I have a tricycle. Let me go over and give this child a tricycle because I can't stand to see them fall again. But that's not necessarily in the best interest of that child because they need to learn how to ride that bike. So maybe you feel like you're doing a good thing, but your motive is because you can't stand seeing them fall. It's because you're in pain every time you see that, as opposed to this is what's in the best interest of that person. And true altruism is about that. It's saying, because I care about you, regardless of even if it's difficult for you. For example, if you see somebody who's on drugs and maybe they're struggling to get off drugs, and you work in a drug treatment clinic, and maybe you're helping this person to basically get off of the drugs and to detox. This person's going to be shaking, they're going to be screaming, they're going to be sweating, they're going to be cursing at you, they're going to be doing a lot of stuff. But because you care about them, you'll allow them to go through that so that drug can come out of their body, as opposed to saying, you know what, I feel so bad for you, I'm just going to go here in the back, no one knows about this, but I got a secret stash, I'm going to help you, give you this drug just to make you feel better. No, because if you do that, you're only feeding the problem. So again, our motives have to be what's in the best interest of someone else and not just our own interest. But more on that after this. You are listening to North Coast Underground, where the underground starts with you. All right, what's going on? Welcome back. You're listening to For the Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets. And this is your host, JC Johnson. For the Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets on North Coast Underground. You can hear it every Thursday at 4 o'clock. And right now, we are discussing the wisdom of altruism. So we started by discussing an article that basically talked about how altruism is possible because there's a reason why people are willing to risk their own well-being in order to help others. It's a pretty good article. You can check it out on verywellmind.com. The author is Kendra Cherry, and it just came out on November 12th. So check that out. Now, when it comes to being truly altruistic, what else is there to consider? I think that it would be good to just check and see what some notable people have to say about it. One is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. He has some pretty good insight when it comes to this. This is someone who definitely lived what he was talking about when it came to altruistic efforts. So he said that every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. And this is important. This is something that all of us need to strongly consider, right? What are we doing it for? What's our reason? And ultimately, are we willing to be selfless in this life? Are we willing to put our own well-being on hold for the benefit of others? Because if not, then it'll be just like anyone else. Martin Luther King, if he was only focused on himself, I'm sure he would have lived longer. He would have lived a longer life. He wouldn't have passed away in the 1960s. Maybe he would have passed away in 2025. We'll never know. But if he had never put his life on the line, all the things that he fought for, would it have even happened? It's hard to say, right? So one thing that he said is kind of quoting Moses. He said, I'm not going to reach the mountaintop with you, but I see it, and I know good things are ahead. I can't be there with you, but I'm doing this basically so that you can enjoy it. And he sacrificed his own life because he knew that other people were going to benefit from it. So that is a challenge for all of us, I think, to live in that kind of way. That's the way that we really need to live. This is a quote from Richard Dawkins, and I don't typically quote Richard Dawkins. We have some different beliefs, but I think that this is really true, what he has to say. He said, "Let us try to teach generosity and altruism because we are born selfish." That's very true. Definitely true. And what he's getting at here is that there's this innate problem within each of us, whether we realize it or not, whether we like it or not, and that is that we were born selfish. Now, Richard Dawkins is a world-renowned atheist, and he has a lot of reasons for that. But the thing about atheism that I've always had a problem with is that even when they're discussing problems in the world, such as mankind's innate selfishness, they discuss problems, but they're not able to offer a solution. So they can tell us the what, but they can't tell us the why. And I think that that's why it's so important to have a connection to God and a spiritual foundation, because there's so much in life that can't be answered, simply by saying that we're only accountable to ourselves. We need to be accountable to God, who's much higher than us. And I think that can help us to really see life for all that it is and help us to make, much greater decisions. So that's just something to keep in mind. Here's one from David Mixner. And this is interesting because he says that pharmaceutical companies have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the new HIV or AIDS treatments, not out of altruism, but because they can make up those research costs in sales. So some could argue, well, it doesn't really matter what their reason is, they're still doing a good thing. But check this out. There was an article written in Forbes magazine that discussed Jonas Salk. And you may not be familiar with Jonas Salk, but he's somebody who changed the world in a really powerful way because he discovered a vaccine for polio. And this vaccine worked really well, and it saved a lot of people. But the thing about Jonas Salk, which is different from a lot of people today, is that he refused to put a patent on that cure. He actually gave it away for free just because he wanted people to get well. And Forbes magazine actually estimates that if he had patented that vaccine, it would have made him about $7 billion over the course of his life. And that's a lot of money that he gave away, right? That's more than, Donald Trump's net worth, right? $7 billion is a lot. He gave that up. And, the fact that he invented that vaccine for polio and then gave it away for free, I think that really speaks to altruism in its truest sense, right? He didn't do it for financial gain, because if he had sold that to the pharmaceutical companies, do you know that it would cost way more for that vaccine than it does right now? The fact that he gave it away made it to where they didn't have to pay those extra costs that you would have to pay to someone if they had patented it. So that cuts out, I think, something like 25 to 35% of the cost just right there. So that's really awesome that he did that. And I'm pretty sure that he didn't lose any sleep at night because he didn't have that money, because he felt like he had enough. He just wanted to make sure that other people were good. I think that's pretty cool. Here's one from David Rakoff. And he says that altruism is innate, but it's not instinctual. Everybody's wired for it, but a switch has to be flipped. So this is a flip of the coin. Richard Dawkins talked about how selfishness is innate, right? But what David Rakoff is saying is that altruism is also innate. The thing about it, though, is that it's not going to be the go-to for people. It's not going to be the natural instinct. Even though people are able to behave altruistically, it's really only something has to happen within that person for them to say, I'm going to actually put this into practice and live my life in this way. What does the Bible have to say about altruism? James 1:27, popular verse here. It says, "Here are the beliefs and the way of life that God our Father accepts as pure and without fault. When widows are in trouble, take care of them. Do the same for children who have no parents or orphans, and don't let the world make you impure." So again, that's very altruistic right there. Look out for people who can't look out for themselves. Leviticus 19:18, it says, "Do not try to get even. Do not hold anything against any of your people. Instead, love your neighbor as you love yourself." And that one is really important because really it just speaks to us about how no matter what somebody does to you, no matter how you feel in a given situation, you should always treat people how you want to be treated. That's something referred to as the golden rule. And it's true, right? Because no matter what you go through in your life, even if you mess up horribly, you would hope that people would treat you fairly regardless. And that's something really important for us to consider. But more on that after this. You're listening to North Coast Underground, where the underground starts with you, and this is For the Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets.
Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom. Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.